Hello, my name is Lindsay Stone. I am going to be presenting my 5 themes of geography on place today. I have selected Haiti, the land and her people. My husband and I lived in Haiti for almost 6 months a few years ago, and I'm going to be using those experiences and additional research in support of my project today. First, we'll start off with physical characteristics, and we're going to visit Haiti and her location. Haiti shares the Caribbean island of Hispaniola with the Dominican Republic. Haiti has many geographical features. She has mountains and valleys, some plateaus and plains, which are essential for growing of crops. Haiti's climate is tropical, semi-arid. You can see on the map there where it's tropical rainforest, tropical monsoon, and tropical savanna for the majority of the surface there on the map, and also some hot semi-arid as well as a couple others with very small numbers. Haiti is also very hot and humid with, typical tropical humidity. It has dry and rainy seasons. The dry season typically runs between November and March with average rainfall coming in just above an inch to 3.5 inches a month, which is about the average rainfall here in Owensboro. The wet season runs from October or April through October. It's wettest in May with approximately 9 inches a month. This is not including the the hurricane season that ramps up, late summer, early fall for us. That unusually wet weather is not included in these averages. Haiti's climate also presents quite a bit of rainfall with an average of 55 to 79 inches per year. Obviously, the interior mountains are going to receive more rain, and you can see that depicted here on this map. Haiti was previously thought to be only 2% covered in forest, coined as naked or moonscaped. However, it's still deforested, but still at 30% plus coverage for forest. It's not as fertile as it was in the past because of landscaping practices, and plus the deforestation has caused quite a bit of erosion and mudslides, which have stripped that topsoil. Approximately 15,000 acres of topsoil are eroded every year. We'll move on to human characteristics. Haiti's population is 10.98 million and is the 2017 current estimation. Obviously, they don't have a census bureau that is efficient like ours, so this is merely just a estimation. Haiti is very poor with a 77% overall poverty rate. About half of the population lives in rural areas, and that rural area is significantly more poor. Of that rural population, 88% is considered poor, and 67% is considered extremely poor. Over 40% unemployment for the area. Many workers don't have a formal job. So 2/3 of the population just hops around from odd job to odd job, or finishes their agriculture harvest for the season and resumes some other type of job, but they don't have a work job to report to day in and day out. Haiti's religion is Roman Catholic, Baptist, and Voodoo primarily. Now, as this graph shows, about 80% of Roman Catholics also practice voodoo. They kind of go hand in hand with each other. Voodoo has, a God that they pray to that is much like Mary. So they just kind of exist together. Language is Haitian Creole and French. Before Haiti was Haiti, it was Santo Domingo, and became a French colony after that. So it's got a lot of history. Haitian Creole is kind of a mix between French, Spanish, and African language from where the slaves were brought over. Like many cultures, Haitians eat 2 meals a day. Many times this will consist of eggs and possibly another protein, maybe a source of meat, or they will eat eggs and maybe a roll or biscuit, or maybe a piece of fruit. And for lunch, which is their big meal, they'll have rice and beans and usually a source of meat being some chicken or cabrit, which is goat, to help provide them enough fuel to get through the day until breakfast the next morning. Haiti's government is riddled with a very sad past. With recurring natural disasters and poor leadership, the country has never been able to find much success. It has a semi-presidential republic, so it has a president with ruling political parties. It is known for corruption and instability. Moving on to land use for agriculture, we have crops being coffee, sugar, bananas, corn, rice, among other things like grapefruit, papaya, coconut. They don't have commercial farming. It's usually smaller farms that grow things, for market. They are great importers of items, so they don't grow enough to sustain their population, so they still import sugar and corn and rice for their consumption. Next, we have livestock. They rely heavily on pigs, goats, cattle, and poultry, once again, mostly for their own consumption or to serve as a kind of savings account to be sold or slaughtered and taken to market to pay for, upcoming marriages or medical emergencies, or even potentially just a yearly sell-off to help provide schooling for their children. If they're also farmers, they may use these livestock for money just to purchase seeds for additional crops. And I've even seen sacrifices for voodoo ceremonies. Moving on to trees, talk some more about deforestation. This image here just shows how the landscape has just been literally scraped clean of trees. Very few trees, and what trees are there are really thin, long trees, that have been left behind or are very young and haven't had a chance to grow. This is a depiction of an aerial map or aerial shot. You can even see the clouds with the little shadows there. The area to the right is the Dominican Republic, and the area to the left there is Haiti. So you can see there how it's been deforested quite a bit. We also have the use of charcoal. Here you see where the process has begun. We've got logs here being chopped up into smaller pieces. This man is smoldering these pieces of wood under that, just kind of cook them down until they're just embers, and then they bag the embers up. This truck is likely headed to a larger market, maybe in a big city, but oftentimes it ends up in a small marketplace like this, where this young lady is selling her charcoal to, just rural families who need it for their cooking source. The physical characteristic of Haiti that I feel is most impactful on humans is water. Water is the most abundant resources in the world, and we cannot live without it. Clean drinking water is a regular commodity here in the United States. However, in Haiti, the rural population does not have access to clean drinking water and is forced to do with what they have. Many residents have to travel many miles to gain access to water at all, and oftentimes it's contaminated, dirty water that can cause typhoid fever, dysentery, and intestinal parasites. I've watched women carry nearly full 5-gallon buckets on their head while climbing these steep cliffs to ensure that their family has water back home. Drinking water through education, clean drinking water projects, and wells in rural locations. We are also able to provide irrigation, which is vital for crops and helps during times of drought season because these wells go deeper than, say, the surface water that runs across. So, able to tap into the water table and bring up this water for these rural communities. And these drilling for wells are happening every day, all the time in Haiti. This is two pictures side by side showing the river Les Trois Rivières, which is the Three Rivers. This is our swimming hole / bath area where we would come every day and take a bath. This is my husband with some friends of ours, and they were taking a shampoo party, and we were bathing here, and I looked directly upstream and I saw this. This man is bathing his horse directly upstream from where we are bathing. So dirty horse water is visiting our bath area. Then directly downstream from us, from dirty horse water to us, to our dirty body water, to this little girl trying to find a clean cup of water to drink. Here, a young boy is letting the water sift through the sand. You can see the little hole where he's dug it out, and he's letting that water sift through his sand to help provide potentially cleaner water for him and his family. This lady here has a bucket that she's going to be collecting water to take back home. Aside from the flooding that can occur from the erosion, just 1 inch of rain can cause for flash flooding to occur. But during the dry seasons, you also have where, this is the riverbed. This rock that you see here is a riverbed. And because of the dry season, the water has receded, it's gone down. There's a small stream going on the other side there where the rocks end. But what people have done is they have, created kind of like this little peninsula where they've stacked rocks up to help gather the water into this little bay that they've dug out to reach up closer to the shore so that people can fill their buckets with water and they don't have to walk across this very rocky terrain and carry their buckets on top of their heads, because many Haitians don't have shoes, and even if you do, could you imagine trying to carry a 5-gallon bucket of water on your head while stumbling over these big stones? So they pull that water in there so that they can reach it. This next slide here shows actually like a hose that goes to a pump house that's used to stretch down to this exact same little canal that they've made. Here you see the walls of the riverbank where the water can go up and typically is. This culvert here on the left image with the hose coming down is to help be able to have the hose reach down to the pump the water back up to the well house up at the top on the other side of the road there. And the image to the right is where these ladies have come down. You can see them with their buckets there. They're on their way back up, but they've come down to that small stream there that I showed you in the previous slide, and they're taking the water back up. The image to the left shows the raging river that just completely inundates an area due to flash flooding, maybe a hurricane. This heavy rain, just an inch of it can cause a flash flood. And I've seen it wipe away homes. You can see on the image on the right where a river, this is the dry season here, but you can see where the river has raged through and just cut through the mud and the rock, and you can even see up at the top where the erosion has caused some of those trees to roots to be exposed. This is actually a spring that's flowing out from the side of a mountain. We had to stop here to get clean water during a drought period to take back to our house. And actually that bucket, or that white thing there, is the lid to a bucket. Oftentimes we'll stop along the roadways. One of our trucks had a tendency to overheat, so we would need water because the radiator would run out of water, and we'd stop to fill up here. This home was actually located near a riverbank, so if you can imagine hurricane winds coming in, tearing the roof off, and then you have the structure itself, the floodwaters coming in. It's just made out of dirt and clay, so easily washed away and often needing to be rebuilt. Here you can see some rain off in the distance, and you can definitely tell it's raining up in the higher elevations. There may be some reaching the ground there in the valleys, but you can tell that the mountains receive more rain, even by the lesser vegetation, as well as just the storm systems that roll through. Sources of water are sources of life, and you will see that many populations are built around access to water. Here these women are washing laundry, taking it back up to their property to hang out to dry. This very pregnant woman was taking a bath here on the river's edge. She also had her laundry out and was washing it there to her back left side out of view. Many people came down to the river and bathed completely naked with no signs of insecurity about that at all. In summary, Haiti is a beautiful place with a rough history. Humans have a large impact on Earth, and Earth has a large impact on her inhabitants. I try to imagine if Haiti's physical features had not been changed so much by humans, what the country and Haitians' characteristics would look like today. Bottom line is, we must take care of our Earth. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation on Haiti, the land and her people.